What's up, guys? And welcome back to another episode of What the Elle. I'm your host, Elle Kramer, and today I'm going to just be talking about a bunch of random things, give you some life updates, and I'm also going to tell you why the format of this episode is different than it normally is, because normally I'm going to cover like one topic and just go over my overall opinion about it and just go from there. But today we're going to do multiple topics. So, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was I actually posted on my Snapchat story. I was like, here's my list. I just like literally write random topics down all the time. They just like pop into my head. I'm like, ooh, that would be a really good episode. And I'm like, let's do that one. And then I'll just like pick whichever one I'm feeling that week, like whichever one I'm like feeling like I need to focus on. Cause honestly, doing this is kind of like therapy. It's very relaxing. It's very therapeutic for me. Like, I used to journal a lot, but I stopped journaling because this is literally my therapy now. Like, just doing this and like just talking to you guys and talking to myself, like it's great. It's awesome. I love talking to myself. What the hell? And so it's like it's time to spice things up because it's what the hell. It's not you're supposed to be shocked. You're supposed to be pizzazzed, surprised, if you will. Yeah. So I got too excited. So yeah, I'm gonna first be talking about what I don't like about our generation. And one of the first things I don't like about our generation is the hookup culture. I know I've touched upon this a number of times in previous episodes, but I'm going over it again because this was requested for me to talk about on my Snapchat story. Like all of the topics, everyone wanted me to talk about everything. And I'm like, okay, this isn't really helping me because y'all aren't picking one. You need to pick one. Don't pick 25. But anyways, since nobody picked one, we're just doing like all of them. Hookup culture, it's just not my favorite because I just feel like whenever you participate in hookup culture, you're just messing around with someone else's soulmate and creating connections with people that you don't need to be creating if you're not really seeing a future with them. Because if you don't see a future with them, then like what's the point? What's the point of wasting your time and the other person's time? It's just no bueno. And it's never been my thing, and I'm more of like a relationship girly. I can only like be with one person, and it's just not like I don't know. It's not I don't know. It's like I understand. It's just hard for me to like be a part of because I'm just very emotional, and that just puts you in a predicament to where you're very emotionally vulnerable, I guess. And I subconsciously set expectations for people, and that's something that I've learned about myself just like observing and being introspective. Like I've observed that I'm very what did I just say? Oh my gosh, I already forgot. What the hell? What did I say? I literally can't remember. My screensaver is distracting me. I understand why people do participate in hookup culture. It's just never been my forte because I would consider myself a hopeless romantic, and I would always like to stay that way. And I think hooking up with people kind of dims that spark because it just like takes something away from you, to be honest with you. Like if we're gonna be so truthful with ourselves, like hookups don't feel good after. Like they may feel good in the moment. Like also that kind of goes into the next one, which is like the instant gratification of our generation. And whenever I talk about these things, I'm not trying to like bash anybody. These are just things that they're not necessarily favorited by me, and like everyone's allowed to talk about their own opinions, but these are mine, so don't come for me. Anyways, yeah, the next one is the instant gratification aspect of our generation. Like we are so and honestly, it's not even just our generation. This is just like a worldwide thing. We want things now, and I'm even having to like retrain my brain to like try to not want things now because you need to be patient and you need to know that God's timing is on God's timing and not your timing. And it's important to remember that. And that's something that I frequently forget about because I think that I know everything, which I clearly do not. Like, no, Elle, you do not know everything. You know, probably not. You can learn something new like every 5 minutes on, like, I should be learning something new every 5 minutes, but I'm not doing that. But if I should be, but I'm not. And that's something that I don't like about our generation because, like, why are we constantly trying to get the next best thing right after we got the best thing before that, like 2 seconds ago. Like, it's a constant, you're constantly on a freaking, what is that called? A hamster on a wheel? I don't know. You're just constantly wanting the next best thing. Like, even in casinos, whenever I went to Vegas with my parents, oh my gosh, it was literally a fever dream because so yeah, I went to Vegas with my parents. It was me and my mom's birthday month and my parents' anniversary because their anniversary is on the same day of their birthday, which I would never do. But I mean, love you, mom and dad, for doing that. But like, for my anniversary, like, you best be believing that I will be having my anniversary and my birthday on a separate occasion because those are two completely separate moments that need to be celebrated individually. But I mean, I can appreciate my mom's simplicity in life and wanting to combine the two, and I'm sure it just happened on accident, or I don't know. So, future husband, just know that don't pop that question or anything on my birthday, okay? So, yeah, thanks. Also, make sure my nails are done, which I'm sure they will be because I haven't really had no nails on, like, not, you haven't seen my bare nails in like 4 years. So let's just be so real. Let's just be so for real with ourselves and stop playing games. And the next thing I want to talk about is our poor communication skills because, we are just so, we have our little slang, which is fun and cute, but at the same time, like, when are we gonna talk civilized? Like, just because we have slang doesn't mean we need to sound like we're not completely uneducated, And that's something that also bothers me. Like, but I think that also comes with our phone usage. We're just so addicted to our phones, me included. I think bad communication skills doesn't even necessarily have to mean Gen Z slang. It could just be like in general, like within friendships, we're so bad at trying to make plans now and wanting to follow through with those plans because we'd rather just stay home and watch Netflix and completely flake. And like, I'm so guilty of that because sometimes you just don't want to, like, sometimes following through with the plans that you created like 2 days ago is the worst thing because you're like, "Oh my god, I literally don't want to go, but I would feel so bad if I didn't because I know that feeling whenever that person doesn't go, it's the worst." And that one, like, I'm guilty of. So, like I said, don't come for me because these are all things that I've seen, I've observed, may or may not have participated in. That's not for you to know. I'm parched. Well, let me grab a sip of my beverage, my lemon water. Lemon water, whenever you're working out, next level. Let me just tell you, it like takes me to a different. Anyways, let me drink it. Okay. The next thing I don't like about our generation, I don't remember what I was talking about, so I'm just going to move on. The next thing I don't like about our generation is how romanticized relationships are. And this one used to really, really, really bother me because I always was so obsessed with what everyone else was doing and what everyone else was thinking and what everyone else was posting. And it was just like my FOMO literally became like a phobia for me because it was so bad. I don't even it was like it's like a trigger, like FOMO is a triggering topic for me because I would just allow myself to get so wrapped up in what everyone else around me was doing, like looking at people's Snapchat stories and seeing that they're at a party that I wasn't invited to, or seeing my friends in a different state, like at the beach while I'm like not while I didn't do anything for spring break, like just like constantly worrying about what everyone else is doing when I should be worrying about what I'm doing, because it just takes away the beauty of the moment. And that's something that you can't get back. But it's something hard for me to also retrain my brain on because I always, like I said, I am a romantic girly and bless my heart for that. Don't ever change yourself because somebody makes you feel a certain way because like I've definitely been in situations where I have like wanted to be not like wanted to be something I wasn't, or I guess pretend, I don't know. I don't want to say like pretended to be something I wasn't, but whenever you like somebody, you just like want them to like you. And if they're like telling you that they want you to do like to be this one thing for them, then like you'll do it if you want, like if you're just blinded enough. And I think that's what happened to me in the past. I was in a place where I was blinded by other people's wants and needs rather than my own, which is sad. But also looking back, there's nothing that I can do about it. And, hashtag no regrets. It's important to not regret anything. But if I did regret something, it wouldn't be that, because that's not that big of a deal. Was that going to really matter in 5 years? No, because I don't even remember what I was talking about 5 seconds ago. So moving on, that's what we do. The next thing I don't like about our generation is the cancel culture that we have. I think it's gotten better, like just the trolling, that nature. And I think it can be like, everything in moderation. Everything in moderation can be fine, but like, it comes to a point whenever you shouldn't be making other people feel so bad about themselves on the internet. Like, there's no point to do that. I just don't like the cutthroat vibe of YouTube and social media. Like, if you do one thing wrong, you're canceled and you can never be seen again, and your career's over, and you're done for. Like, don't your career's down the garbage, and don't expect to ever get it back, because you're not. And that's basically the energy that social media kind of puts out. And I mean, I'm not like an influencer or anything, by no means. I'm just like me, just a little college student living my life here in Louisiana, in this little bayou. Not really. It's really not a bayou. I mean, it kind of is. It kind of just really depends on where you live. But I'm more like in the city, so it's not really like the bayou here. But I mean, if you drive like 35 minutes, like Lake Martin, you'll get there. One time, this is a funny story. Oh my gosh. Okay, one time I went with my ex-boyfriend, great guy. Oh, it's really not that funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. Okay. I had to pee. We were in a canoe or like kayak. I had to pee really, really bad. Like, so bad. We were kayaking in this like one kayak thing for like 45 minutes, and he had like a little camelback that we were just drinking because it was super hot. It was like in the middle of summer and super humid, probably like 100 degrees, and the water was seeming hot, like steaming. And I literally started to pee on myself. So we went into the like we were in like the water where it wasn't like covered with like a layer of like marsh or like grass, whatever the stuff on top, you know what I'm talking about, like the stuff that sits on top of the water. I don't want to say grass because that doesn't sound right, and I don't want to say like marsh because that also is not right, but the word is slipping my mind. But hopefully you know what I'm talking about, just like that layer of green stuff. And obviously in the swamp there's going to be that layer of like green stuff everywhere, but like there's more layers of it the further you go. And I was about to pee on myself, and I didn't want anybody to see me pee, and I wasn't about to pee in the kayak because, like, I'm just not that, like, I'm not the one. I mean, back in the day, back when I was running like cross country and track, and like, it was every man for himself in those woods, and you're just running like your 5K, like crying and trying to just make it. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But in this moment, whenever I was like with my boyfriend, and I was like, we're still like in the like little honeymoon phase, I was like, no, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I can't. But I was like, my like eyes were watering. I had to pee so bad. And it was like alligator and snake infested. And I guess we didn't realize that at that point, but it was very much so. And once we paddle like into the freaking swamp. Literally into the swamp, into the bowels of the trees. I literally almost fell into the freaking swamp. The next thing I don't like about our generation is social media in general, like, and how fake it is. And if you don't have a certain type of mindset about it, you can really get your feelings hurt. I mean, I guess just depending on who you are, because some people have like they don't care about social media, and like I guess it's more of like a girl thing, just because seeing like really fit girls on the internet, whenever you see all these influencers and you're like going to the gym and you're like, why don't I look like that? But then you're like, okay, well, these people are literally like, that's their career, like that's what they're doing for a living, and like they have the best lighting and the best equipment and everything. So it's just, you have to remember everything that is like you see is either staged, edited, touched up, brushed, like everything probably fake, most likely fake. Everything you see on social media is altered. And like my Instagram, it doesn't show you every single moment. It shows you like the highlight reels, and that's like the most important thing to remember, that social media is a highlight reel. I guess I had to learn that, but I think some people still it makes me sad that people have to learn that the hard way, because I had to learn it the hard way. But I mean, it's just something that you have to go through at some point, because growing up, I was a generation where technology, like Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff existed my whole life. My friends who are like 25, or my cousins who are like 26, 27, 30, they didn't have Facebook or any, like, Facebook was coming about whenever they were like in 5th grade or something. So they had like a time period where they didn't have any social media at all, which is like even so crazy to think about, because like social media has, not even social media, but like technology in general has changed the world so much in a numerous amount of ways, positive and negative. Not trying to go into a freaking thesis right now, but I'm just saying it's crazy how much it's changed the world, and how it's affected like mental health aspects of it too. Because whenever you think about it, how many kids are on social media? Like, probably your kid is exposed to social media, whether you like it or not, because they're probably consuming. That makes me sad. This isn't something I don't like about our generation. This is just an observation that a lot of people don't want to have kids anymore. And that makes me sad also. And I understand why they don't want to have kids, because the world is like really messed up, and there's stuff that goes on, and they could have been exposed to certain things there in their environment that cause them to never want to have kids, because like they experience divorce or like death or just abuse or something, like something just not good that makes them not want to go through that ever again. And some people who like don't want to even give you an answer as to why they don't want to have kids, they just don't want to have kids. But I feel like I hear that answer more and more, which makes me sad, because I know that that's becoming kind of like the norm for a lot of people. And I want to have kids because, like, I believe that just because the world is like kind of crazy, I mean, very crazy, I still believe that there's like good people in the world and there's like good things to be done. I don't know. That's just something that makes me sad. More of like something, more of an observation rather than a dissatisfaction, I guess. But that's really what I don't like about our generation. I don't really think I have anything else to say about that, because I mean, otherwise, I know that our generation is going to be really good parents. I know I just kind of like, dissed our generation a little bit, but I mean, I know that we mean well, and there's just a lot of broken people out there who don't even know it or aren't in touch with that side of themselves, and that makes me sad as well, because this isn't actually, yeah, I'm not done. Yeah, I also don't like how our generation isn't as emotional and romantic and have like that romantic aspect to them as much. Like, you have to like really, really, really find that and dig for that, because so many people are trying to just skip through that because they just want all the benefits of having a partner without actually being in a relationship. That, and I think that also comes with the instant gratification thing, because people are just so used to getting something that they want without even having to ask for it, and that makes me sad. So I think that's all I have to talk about for that was my last one. The next topic that I want to talk about is my least favorite thing about myself, which is my me versus me, my overthinking, and the voice in my head that tells me that I'm not good enough, that I constantly work to fight back, but sometimes that voice is really loud and I don't know how to dim it down, because it's just like something that, how do you stop overthinking? Because like that's just basically like telling somebody to freaking, that's like scratching me and then telling me to stop bleeding. Like, that's not gonna, you can't just stop the blood from coming out of my arm. Like, that's not how that's gonna work, babe. Like, like, what are you talking about? And so whenever people are like, how to stop, I literally have like typed into Google, how to stop overthinking. Just the home remedies come up and stuff, but I'm like, really? Like, I just don't know how to fix this. And it's always been something that I've struggled with, and I don't know how to stop struggling with it, because it's just something that you have to like adjust your mind to. And I think I pick apart a lot of things, and I'm I thought I wasn't like ever going to be in a relationship for a long time because of that tendency, because I overthink so much. was like, I can't be like, there's no way that I could ever date somebody who also thinks like me, because they think like me, they're also going to overthink and pick apart everything that I'm saying and overanalyze everything that I'm saying. And there can only be one of me. Like, there can't be two of me running around, because like I'm already enough like myself. The second that you get like the male version of me, like what am I supposed to do with that? And um so like, what do you do if you find that accidentally? And so like, that's kind of what I'm getting to, my life update. Y'all remember how I said I would never do long distance? I thought that too. I really did. But something just happened, and there's sometimes you just can't fight it. I don't know how it happened, but I have a boyfriend now. Yeah, I don't know where it came from. Kind of just came out of nowhere, to be honest, but I'm very happy and I'm not mad about it at all. The reason I bring that up is because I didn't think I could be in a relationship for a long time, because I overthink so much. He just shuts my mind up. I don't know. Like, whenever I'm with him, like, I just like, my mind turns off. And that's something that I always wanted with somebody. I thought that I needed to be in the same proximity to feel that reassurance and to not overthink. But like, I thought I was gonna like overthink our relationship and all this stuff, but like, all it really takes is just like two willing people to make something work. And if they're willing to make it work, like, they'll make it work. And that also kind of goes back to the phrase, if they wanted to, they would. I made a whole episode about this. I feel like this phrase shouldn't even be controversial, because if somebody wants to put in the effort into being in a relationship with you, they will put the effort into being in a relationship with you. If they don't want to talk to you, they're not going to talk to you. If they want to text you, they will text you. They will find a way. I feel like putting this on social media just like jinxes this, so I'm gonna knock on some wood, just because this, like, talking about things that are happening in the now, it kind of like makes me feel like uneasy. But yeah, that's what we're doing today, I guess, because he was the one who was like, you should do a multiple series episode where you talk about multiple topics in one episode. And I was like, okay, good idea, I guess. And so now I'm doing it. And yeah, we'll just see if you guys like it, because this was a little all over the place and unhinged, but what the hell, that's the point. And yeah, in one episode, I think it was my dating in 2024 episode, me and my best friend talked about how I would never do long distance, because I am a person who, like, my love language is like quality time and like physical touch. So I would like to be holding my partner's hand, like walking with my partner and doing that kind of thing. And like, I wasn't going to settle for less, but I didn't realize that like there were other ways that your partner can show you that without being with you. I guess I just had such severe trust issues, but I was like, he just kind of checks all the boxes that I didn't even know I had and just undoes them for me, which is crazy to think about, because I never thought that I would want to do long distance. But like, yeah, so now I have a boyfriend, and yeah, just because I have a boyfriend doesn't I also know that comes with, there's still going to be hard days. Like, there's still like nothing about, just because I have a boyfriend doesn't mean that your life, that you're like, I don't know how to say this. Yes, being in a relationship is super fun. This is a date that we went on that I'm just gonna give you a little rundown of. So, homegirl here, as you have recollected, if you've been here long enough, thank you for staying, first of all. But I threw up on Valentine's Day. I was very sick, and that happened again. And so I ate something bad, or something just, my stomach, I was unwell and throwing up violently. And this was only like, I don't want to say our second date. It was like it was still fresh, and he was seeing me in this state, and he was so like okay with seeing me vomit, like dry heaving. I was like down bad. I was down bad because I just like so nauseous. Whenever you get nauseous and you just like, oh my gosh. Like, this man literally he tried to catch my throw up in his hands. He literally tried to catch my throw up in his hands while I was throwing up. And I was like, move, like, no, don't catch my throw up. Like, let me make it to the toilet. Like, I don't want to throw up on you. What are you doing? But like, I was just like, there's no way that this man is seeing me like, what? Like, do that in the toilet. And he's like, still like still like wants to be here because like I was like after that I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you saw that. Like, oh my God. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't care. And I was like, that's a man. That is a man. And I think at that moment I was just like, lock it in, Elle. Well, I didn't say that, but like, I was thinking it. And I was definitely thinking it before that. But I mean, that moment definitely was a moment where I was like, if a man or a woman is gonna sit with you while you're like puking or just in a very bad like state and they just are just like taking care of you and like making sure you feel that you're good, like keep that person because you don't find that all the time. Like what? And that goes also back to saying that you can create you can find those relationships once you stop looking for them. And I think that's how whatever this relationship came about into my life because I haven't been in a relationship in over 2.5 years, 3. I don't even know anymore because it was that long ago. Because I just didn't find anybody that like matched my energy and like he just like immediately like right whenever we met, like I don't know, we just matched each other's energy. That's all I can say. I don't want to say too much because I know he wants to come on here and definitely chop it up and talk about his side of the story too. And so I'm gonna leave it at that, I guess. But, yeah, I just think this also goes back to I don't think I would have been able to open that door for myself if I was so closed off. Because going back to the overthinking, I struggle with overthinking so much. And I was like, there's no way I'm equipped to be in a relationship. Like, there's no person who's going to understand me the way that I understand myself. Like, I just don't know. Like, I don't think I can be in a relationship right now because, like, that's too much work and I don't want to do it. But whenever it's with the right person, like, it's easy. And it's weird that it's easy. But because I'm not used to that, I feel like most of the relationships that I was in felt very unhealthy or toxic because not all of them, just I guess just what I remember because they're just so long ago, and they're just kind of irrelevant. But I don't know. That is my life update. That is what has been going on. Yeah, we do long distance. He lives in Texas. I live in Louisiana. Never thought I would ever do long distance. Well, maybe I was like, maybe I would. I don't know. I was like, it would take a very special person for me to want to do that. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. So like if you can like connect those dots, like you can connect those dots. If you can't, you can't. But I mean, that's all I really have today, guys. I got to start packing. I got to go celebrate Easter with the family, go do that. And so also should probably study because it is our spring break right now. And I have not opened my computer to study at all. And I should really do that. But with that, you guys, I will see you guys next week. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, stay sexy, stay savage, and stay tuned for another episode of What the Elle every Friday. Love you. Bye.